Well, this feels random, but hey, I'm doing it. Today I want to talk about every single death battle that's actually happened canonically, or I guess more accurately in official media. I'll list whether or not it's canon or not. Most of these won't be. To be clear, these characters have to have actually fought or at least been implied to fight or have an encounter. Being together in some crossover is not good enough for two characters to be considered as having fought each other, but I'll bring them up at the end. This also means for the purpose of Super Smash Bros. That the characters had to either fight in reveal trailers, Subspace Emissary, or their classic runs in Ultimate. Just being in the same roster doesn't make you applicable. If I miss any, do tell me and I will correct that in the comments. Let's go. Haggar vs Zangief. I'm already stretching my rules a bit here, but Haggar and Zangief are listed as rivals to one another, meaning they've most likely had a few scraps in the wrestling ring in the past. And yeah, this episode was technically a same series matchup for anybody who didn't know. Who won these encounters? Well, considering Haggar is the mayor and Zangief isn't, I think we can safely guess. Zangief didn't need a profession change. Ninja Turtles Battle Royale. It'd be difficult for me to skim through every single piece of Turtles media to compile every single time the brothers have fought, often during training above all else, with the main one coming to mind being Leo fighting all three of his brothers in the 2003 episode Grudge Match. But obviously there are other examples throughout the series' history, including not Battle Royales, but one-on-ones like Leonardo's multiple fights with Raphael, including the one brought up in the actual episode. Generally, Leonardo is considered the best fighter of the group, followed by Raphael and then Donatello, with Michelangelo's place in the tier being somewhere between Leo and Don depending on the incarnation and honestly just how he's feeling at any given time. Mario vs Sonic. Obviously Mario and Sonic have appeared together in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, where technically they can fight each other in the boxing event, but Mario and Sonic also fight in Sonic's reveal trailer for Super Smash Bros. Brawl and for Steve's trailer in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Sonic arguably won both of those fights. Starscream vs Rainbow Dash. In the 4-part miniseries Transformers / My Little Pony Friendship in Disguise released by IDW in 2020, Queen Chrysalis uses her horse powers to crack the boundary between worlds, connecting with the Decepticon space bridge and dragging the Transformers to Equestria. One of the mini conflicts during this run involves Starscream enslaving ponies to polish him and adorn him with a cape so he doesn't look... What the fuck are you doing? And why are you more worried about property prices? Then RC kicks him in the face and he flies away. He then comes back with Thundercracker and Skywarp and they get planted again. Wait, that's it? I could have sworn they... So, in the second My Little Pony Transformers crossover, The Magic of Cybertron, the Zekas get into a scrap with the ponies where the Wonderbolts and Rainbow Dash help them? And then when they win, Thundercracker shoots his mate in the back and cheers for Rainbow Dash. Dick. Rainbow Dash also transforms into an axe for Starscream. So wait, they never actually fight? Man, I spent all that time reading just to find out this is literally the opposite of the video's point. But then Starscream and Rainbow Dash do officially fight together, just in the sense that Starscream bludgeons Megatron across the face with her. Yeah, okay, this one doesn't count. This is not counting. Link vs Cloud. Despite these two being in Smash together, as far as I can see, the only encounter they have is during Cloud's classic mode route in Smash Bros. Ultimate, where he fights Toon Link, and very, very briefly in his Smash 4 reveal trailer. Cloud wins both times. He-Man vs Lion-O. In the He-Man Thundercats crossover released by DC in 2016, He-Man is stabbed by Mum-Ra using an illusion to lower He-Man's guard as Prince Adam, but Adam is able to stun him with the power of Grayskull. However, Mum-Ra does manage to retrieve the Sword of Power and returns to where Skeletor is. Skeletor vores Mum-Ra and gains the power of Grayskull, returning He-Man to Adam and killing him. Later in the story, Lion-O takes Adam's corpse to bring it back to life, and holy shit, Thundercat cringer. However, when he reawakens Adam, He-Man comes out and starts throwing hands with Lion-O, maddened by Mum-Ra's magic or whatever. After a bit of a scuffle where Lion-O is forced to use the Eye of Thundera's full power to keep up, he manages to free He-Man by showing him what'll happen without him. Nobody technically won, but, Skeletor earlier was taking on the Thundercats solo with the power of Grayskull and would have won if not for Mum-Ra's weakness he wasn't aware of. I think it's fair to say He-Man probably would have won this fight if Lion-O hadn't freed him, but still, I won't give a point to anybody. Terminator vs Robocop. This one has probably the richest history of this collection, starting as a 4-issue miniseries released by Dark Horse Comics in 1992. In this miniseries, it's revealed that in this continuity, Alex Murphy's mind merged with Skynet, which created the Terminators and the future war. A lady called Flo goes back to the past and blows Alex's head off with a homemade plasma cannon. Excuse me? So yeah, due to ripples in the time stream, Skynet sends a Terminator to kill her before she can take out Alex. Robocop eventually gets into a throwdown with 3 Terminators at once with the help of 2 Ed 209s, who promptly die but manage to take out one of the Terminators. The other 2 get taken out by Robocop and Flo with the big gun. Later, Robocop shoots a Terminator child and a Terminator dog, but the 2 manage to dismantle him. That's 1-1 for each. What will be the tiebreaker? Well, Robocop comes out with all these fucking weapons on him once he's repaired and goes forward in time. He takes out some Terminators, redirects a nuclear missile into space, creates an army of Robocops, and they all get into a big fight with an army of Terminators? But then he destroys the Matrix and then does some other shit in the present timeline which erases this version of Robocop from time. And then they reveal one Terminator is left, and it's a dog which overshot its Matrix and went too far back in time and gets stepped on by a dinosaur. Quite a crazy comic run, and in the end, Robocop did come out ahead. Now this comic would also loosely be adapted into a platformer for Game Boy and Sega Genesis, Game Gear, Master System, and SNES, where you play as Robocop, so I can confidently say that solidifies Robocop's fat W in this rivalry. And then in 2011 we got Terminator Robocop Kill Human, another 4-issue miniseries, this time published by Dynamite Entertainment. This one doesn't really try to marry the two series as much as the first. Someone just wanders into a museum in the future where Robocop happens to be there and awakens to kill a Terminator, then awakens Ed 209 to kill the Terminators, then he kills the last human on Earth. And showing just how edgy this version is trying to be, there's a lot of swearing, including Robocop having this outburst and teleporting into someone to blow them up. Robocop goes back in time and fights the Arnold Terminator from T2 and he kills him. Robocop gets kicked out of a van by Sarah Connor, he summons an army of Ed 209s in the future that take out the T-1000, but the T-1000 survives and escapes and kills some people, and then the T-800 awakens to kill the T-1000? Then the T-1000 decapitates John Connor and everyone sinks and it's over. Wow, that was rubbish. Ignoring that once again Robocop takes the W against the Terminator in all but one encounter with them across history, the first Robocop vs Terminator comic feels like an honest-to-God attempt to tell an interesting and unique story melding the core concept of the two franchises. Not just Robocop and the Terminator, but melding the concepts of fate being predetermined from Terminator with Robocop's conflict of man and machine and which one Murphy is. It's significantly darker in a more mature way, and a comic that despite getting very fanfiction-y near the end with, you know, the Robocop army and Robocop becoming a rocket-packed anti-Terminator death weapon that flies into space and goes through time, it feels like it cares more about the core aspects of the series. The second one feels like a 12-year-old's concept of edginess, throwing around tons of swearing and blood and gore and killing a child near the end. It doesn't feel like it's melding the series. It also doesn't really end, it just stops. Literally, it's just Terminator, but Robocop's here now, and nothing from his franchise is represented beyond the shape of the character and the shape of the Ed 209s. Literally, he's just in a museum and then fucks everything up. Rubbish comic. Pokemon Battle Royale. I don't recall if there's ever been a 3-way Battle Royale between the Kanto starters in the series, but obviously they have individually fought each other multiple times. Probably most famously is Ash's Charizard and Gary's Blastoise in the anime. There was also the 3 starters battling their clones in the first movie, which is kinda similar. Who wins? I really don't want to look through every single Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard battle with each other to say who won more often than not. Godzilla vs. Gamera. In 1970, there was a stage play known as Godzilla vs. Gamera, which sadly we know basically nothing about. We know Godzilla, Gamera, Gauss, Gorosaurus, Manila, and Giga were there, and that's really it. Who won the fight? Who knows, but I imagine there was no result and it was just a case where Gauss and Giga interrupted it. Batman vs. Captain America. Here we go. So there are several Marvel vs. DC episodes that are in the DC vs. Marvel comic miniseries. To avoid having to repeat the setup for the series every time, basically they're these two brothers nobody cares about representing Marvel and DC who get into a glorified bar brawl and summon Marvel and DC characters to determine who should win between them, with the loser being erased. It's just this guy's Wiz and this guy's Boomstick, they're making death battles per hand. In the third issue we get Batman vs. Captain America. The two battle for hours, and could battle for days. They have a grand and epic fight and then it's over because a sewer bursts in the third page and Captain America technically loses. Fucking hell. And then in a separate crossover from the previous DC vs. Marvel that came later, Avengers/JLA, the Avengers and Justice League are sent to collect 12 random things because the Grandmaster and Metron wanted to lay Krona or something like that, and we get another showdown between the two. However, after coming to terms with the fact that they're evenly matched, the two decide to work together to figure things out while the others fight. Green Arrow vs. Hawkeye. Both appear and get involved in a conflict in Avengers/JLA, however Hawkeye explicitly states that it was Iron Man that took out Green Arrow, and not Hawkeye himself. However, then Green Arrow does later shoot one of Hawkeye's arrows off screen. I don't know if I'm confident calling that a fight, but we do see the two seemingly fighting here, so I'll give it a pass. We don't see who won though. Ratchet and Clank vs. Jack and Daxter. In PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, these two duos are rivals and prepare to fight each other in cutscene where the winner is determined by who's playing who. Flash vs. Quicksilver. In the second issue of DC vs. Marvel, Flash and Quicksilver have a race. Flash stops to save people in an accident, Quicksilver sucker punches him, but then Flash gets back up and knocks him out. However, it technically doesn't count, because this is Wally West, and this is Barry Allen, so, shut up. Also, these two, yes, there's a still Wally fight in Avengers JLA again, and Wally wins. Meta vs. Carolina. In Party Crasher, the 19th episode of the 10th season of Red vs. Blue, after the Mother of Invention crashes on the planet Sidewinder, the Meta and Carolina have a brief altercation. It doesn't really count though, seeing as Carolina was pretty fucked up at the time, but technically Meta vs. Carolina, the death battle is officially and canonically the 13th episode of the 14th season, so technically this is an official death battle. Ken vs. Terry. This one barely counts, but briefly in Terry's reveal trailer for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, he challenges Ken to a fight. Obviously it must have happened because of who these characters are, but we don't really know who won. Thor vs. Wonder Woman. In Avengers/JLA, during the big Avengers vs Justice League fight, we can briefly see here Wonder Woman and Thor fighting, but it's not really much more than this. Naruto vs Ichigo. Both appear in Jump Force, however they never fight in story. There is a key mission where you fight Piccolo and Ichigo and you're able to select Naruto. In story, Naruto doesn't show up though, and it seems like it's just the Avatar that takes them on, with Naruto being available purely for gameplay purposes. However, in J-Star Victories Versus, Ichigo, Oga, and Hiei fight Yusuke, Gon, and Naruto in the final part of the tournament section of the Pursuit story arc and the Hope arc. The winner is entirely dependent on who you're playing as though. Crash vs Spyro. In Spyro Orange, the Cortex Conspiracy, and Crash Bandicoot Purple, Ripto's Rampage, the two are tricked into finding one another by their opposing series villains doing incredibly stupid things that somehow work. Whoever wins depends on which game you're playing. Ryu vs Jin. From what I can tell, in Street Fighter X Tekken, Ryu and Ken's arcade run will always put them against Jin and Xiao Yu. I can't confirm this because I haven't played the game myself, but every single arcade run I see of Ryu and Ken has this as the second last battle. And Ryu and Ken obviously win. Thanos vs Darkseid. This one just upsets me. Very briefly we see in the Marvel vs DC miniseries snippets of Thanos and Darkseid. Darkseid shows up, they taunt each other, there's this one corner where their laser eyes clash with each other, and then we see the Marvel and DC heroes stop their fight. Who won? Nobody. Darkseid also shows up later in Avengers/JLA, but Thanos isn't in this comic. Aquaman vs Namor. In the second issue of DC vs Marvel, Aquaman and Namor are sent to battle one another. Namor calls Aquaman an imposter, then Aquaman drops an orca on him and he's immobilized. Mega Man Battle Royale. Even mentioned in the episode, EXE and Star Force canonically battle in Mega Man Battle Network 6. Big shocker, Mega Man EXE wins. Additionally, X appears in the Ruby Spears Mega Man cartoon in the episode Mega X where he interacts with but never fights classic Mega Man. Wario vs Dedede. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Dedede is the fourth battle in Wario's classic mode route, which Wario wins. Sasuke vs Hiei. Sasuke and younger Toguro fight Ichigo, Oga, and Hiei within the Pursuit story arc. Sasuke and Toguro eat a big fat L, which you'd probably expect seeing as it's a 2-on-3. Leonardo vs Red Ranger Jason. In the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers/Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic miniseries, we basically see a fight that's the Turtles and the Rangers is like the first thing that happens. This gives us Leo vs Jason as well as Donnie vs Billy and Mikey vs Zack, and well, they don't really finish the fight and nobody wins. There is also the Next Mutation Power Rangers one, but that's not Jason. The 7 Battle Royale. I haven't read the boys comics and frankly I don't want to, but while the 7 don't have a Battle Royale like this in the show, Starlight and A-Train did have a fight at the end of the first season, which technically Starlight won, but only because A-Train had a heart attack. She was on the receiving end of the final hit though. Red vs Blue. If you need me to explain, then please shut the hell up. Geese vs Heihachi. In Geese's Tekken 7 reveal trailer, he challenges Heihachi and proceeds to beat the ever-living crap out of him, giving him the dub that some spectral sparrows say he was denied in the episode proper. And that was all of the actual fights, but here are the crossovers where they didn't fight. Here are the Marvel vs DC episodes where both characters appear in either Avengers/JLA or DC vs Marvel, but are not shown directly fighting. Batman vs Spider-Man, Barry Allen vs Quicksilver, Venom vs Bane, Black Panther vs Batman, Captain Marvel vs Shazam, Ghost Rider vs Lobo, and Batman vs Iron Man. I don't remember if Nightwing appeared in them, but I'll put that on screen right now if he did. Aside from those, Kratos vs Spawn. Both appeared as guest characters in Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur. Kratos in Soul Calibur Broken Destiny in Mortal Kombat 9, and Spawn in Soul Calibur 2 in Mortal Kombat 11. They never encountered each other though, and were never in the same game. Eggman vs Wily. Worlds Collide Archie Comics features both Eggman and Wily, but as allies who don't fight. Zelda vs Peach. They're both in Smash, but never fight in Subspace or in either's Ultimate Classic mode. Luigi vs Tails. They appear and can box each other in Mario and Sonic Limit games, but I don't know if there's a cutscene with it. I haven't. No. Bayonetta vs Dante. Both appeared as collaboration events in Shin Megami Tensei Liberation DX2, but I don't believe they fight or even appear together. Bowser vs Ganon. Both are in Smash, but never fight in Subspace or in either's Classic mode, but Ganondorf does shoot Bowser in the back for all that's worth. Mewtwo vs Shadow. Both are in Smash, though Shadow is an assist trophy, and they don't fight in any cutscene or classic mode, because, I mean, of course Shadow's not going to be in those. Jotaro vs Kenshiro. Both are in Jump Force, but they never fight each other. However, in the Courage Key mission, you do fight against them with Deku, but they're fighting together. Ultron vs Sigma. To my knowledge, they don't fight each other in Marvel vs Capcom Infinite, they just fuse into Ultron Sigma. Weiss vs Mitsuru. Both are in cross-tech battle, but neither encounter each other in any story modes, because Mitsuru was DLC. Because of course she was. You throw a dart blindfolded at the cross-tag battle roster, it'll probably end up on a DLC character. Ganondorf vs Dracula. They're in Smash Ultimate, but don't fight. Mob vs Tatsumaki. Tatsumaki makes a small cameo on Mob Psycho 100, but she doesn't actively fight Mob, or do anything actually. And Madara vs Aizen. The two are partners in J-Star Victory vs Plus, but they don't fight one another. So, I actually rewatched the cutscene, and this literally starts. This cutscene with Madara and Aizen starts with Aizen lying on the floor, having just been laid out by Madara. So actually I'm wrong. This is a proper fight that happened in and Madara won. Because he's Madara. And that was that. I went through a lot of work reading a shitload of comics, some good and some bad, to make this video. Here is a total list of mashups that have happened in official media, as well as who won those fights. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a good one.